Hey people, it is Thursday, June the 29th, and the time is 6:42 in the evening, and it's currently 25 degrees Celsius here in beautiful suburban Guelph, Ontario. And up ahead, you can see Meghan and Bonsai, her old man of a little dog. And we're going to be taking Bonsai for a walk around Meghan's neighborhood.
Yeah, he's just checking his pee mail.
Yeah. Apparently this is a regular occurrence when you take Bonsai for a walk.
Yes, he sniffs everything. That's why it will literally take us a half hour just to go up this street and down the next one.
Right.
Because he will sniff everything. Anything that's even a little bit taller than him, he'll just sniff it for a very long time.
So we're on the west side of Guelph. Does this neighborhood have a name?
Suburgatory?
I know, but is there an actual name for the neighborhood? Like Westwood or something like that?
No, it's just the West End.
The West End, yeah.
I just tell people I live west of Elmira.
Because I remember when I was doing the live stream, I walked past things that said Westwood this and Westwood that.
That's like further up.
Okay.
Along Willow. That's not this neighborhood.
So how old is... Oh, sorry?
This whole like west end of Guelph sometimes is called Mitchell Farms.
Okay.
There was a farm like up there
There,
for
okay.
like 100 years until it was demolished, but that's not, no one really calls it that anymore.
So how old is old man Bonsai here?
He is 11.
11, yep.
He turned 11 in February, so he will be 12 this coming February.
Right.
So Shih Tzus typically live between 13 and 17 years. So he's definitely getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
But my family dog that I had when I was a kid, who just passed away a few years ago, he lived to be almost 17, so he was also a Shih Tzu. So they have just a very marginally shorter lifespan than a cat.
Yeah. Oh, here's where I ended my live stream yesterday.
Oh yeah.
In front of the flamingo or whatever that is.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
heron of the crane or something.
Or the crane, yeah. Great heron.
So there's a house on the corner up here, and there are two little Shiba Inus that they have, and sometimes around this time of day they're outside in the yard, and Bonsai will play with them, and it's really cute, but they haven't been out for like a little while, so I don't know if they'll be out today, but it'd be nice if they were.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we kind of have two options. We can go kind of into the woods and then come back around this way, or we can go up the road and then come back down on the street. It's up to you.
I guess we'll stick to the streets.
Okay. I mean, it's not very interesting either way. It's either just like trees and rocks, or it's like the same house copy paste for like a half hour. So
Yeah.
Take your pick of boring. Either way, it's boring. Either way, we'll encounter absolutely nobody, not a living soul. But
At least not a living soul on 2 feet.
no.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's one actually right over there.
Oh, there is a person. Well, look at that. Yeah, this is their house. They're not there tonight. Is that your friends? They're not there, sweetheart. They're not there, buddy.
I'll try not to get him peeing on things in my video.
That's hard because he pees on everything.
Yeah. Whoa.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Gotta let them know you were there. He just left a calling card.
Okay. Right.
So then when they check their pee mail, they'll see that he stopped by.
Right. How long have you been living here in this part of Guelph?
I don't want to talk about it. Too long. Longer than I intended. So I don't want to talk about it.
A good since 2020, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Too long. It's just too long. Longer than anyone should ever be subjected.
But look over there. Look, the streets end and the countryside begins.
Oh, good.
Look at that.
You know what else is in there? It looks nice in a picture, but the reality is that the second you step foot in there, you're going to be completely swarmed by mosquitoes. There's coyotes in there, like nests of them. You can hear them at night. I've seen them walking around in there. There's like dead skunks, rabbits, all kinds of grasshoppers, horrific things.
Jeez, horrific grasshoppers.
Horrible.
But we're literally on the edge of Guelph. Like, that's where it ends, right there.
I don't know. If we keep walking, I'll show you a literal wheat field.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you a literal field.
Show me all the things you hate the most about this neighborhood.
Oh, we don't have time, my dear. We don't have enough time. No, but it's like, just... I thought that, like, I'd be used to it by now. Like, when I first moved here, I came with, like, okay, I'm going to find things that I like about Guelph, because I hated it growing up here. I detested it. From, like, the second we set foot here, when I was 7 years old, I was like, this place is fucking awful, and I hate it. And, like, I just never got used to it, and then I moved away as soon as I could. And then when I moved back during COVID, I was like so determined to like move back with a positive attitude and be like, I'm going to find things about it that I like. I'm going to enjoy being close to nature. I'm going to enjoy having like access to like all of this green stuff. And like, you know, I'm going to make the most of my time in the country. And that lasted about 3 weeks. And then I was like, what the crap is this? And then just like every additional year that I'm here, my hatred of it just grows exponentially. So that didn't work at all. It did not.
I seem to have touched on a nerve here.
It's just like also...
I might have to edit out the F-bombs in this video later.
It's just also like glaringly obvious that like I don't belong here too, because like everyone who lives here who's my age is like married and has kids, and their lives are completely different from mine. Like we had nothing in common, and so it's like I don't have like, because like in the city there's tons of single people who are like my age and like older than me, and like there's, you know, all my friends in the city are single and child-free, and like, you know, we have a lot in common. We have the same lifestyle, but there's nobody here my age who has the same lifestyle as me, so I feel like an alien all the time. Like I feel like I crash landed on a strange planet with all of these people that I don't understand and cannot comprehend, and so it just like I feel really out of place all the time.
A stranger in a strange land, like the Robert Heinlein sci-fi novel.
That's what it feels like.
Yep. Is there a train tracks over there? Oh, okay.
So that's mostly why I hate it's, well, just the lack of vibrancy, but like also just that like I don't have anything in common with people my age who live here. I just don't. Like, not that, like, obviously there's nothing wrong with how they're living their lives, that they're living the lives that they want, but it's just that we have nothing in common. Like, we have no common ground, so it's like I don't know what to say to these people. You know, like I just don't. It's strange.
Somebody hasn't collected their newspapers.
Oh, a lot of people don't.
Is there a paper boy who rides his bike down the street throwing the newspapers?
No.
Like you see in the old TV shows and stuff?
No. It's like an older woman.
Probably somebody in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They drive by and like toss the papers out. I've literally seen it before, and they just like toss the papers, which like I don't blame them. I'd do the same thing if I had that job.
You can see the houses here. They're not single detached homes, though.
No.
They're actually. They're actually.
It's like a row of townhomes.
It's like semi-detached.
Yeah.
Or townhomes. Yeah, those ones are all connected. Yeah. So it's not the purest form of suburbia, which would be single detached houses on big lots. You know.
Yeah.
It is a bit denser than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually not allowed to build any more suburban neighborhoods in Guelph anymore, which is really awesome. So they have to build density now. They just passed a bylaw like a few years ago, so that's why you see like a lot of apartments going up in places like these kinds of neighborhoods that just sort of hug the edge of civilization, because they can't build out anymore, which is awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah, and Guelph is, making efforts, right?
Well,
To be.
not really. I mean, that was good. That was a really good thing that they did. That was like one of the best things they've ever done for the city, was pass that bylaw for density. And I mean, I'm not totally up on like my municipal politics either, because I don't pay much attention, to be honest. But I know that they passed that law, and like I know that they haven't done anything about transit. Like if Guelph really wanted to be progressive, they would fix their transit system. Like that would be priority number one, because it's just gotten worse over the years. Like when I was a teenager it was bad, but it wasn't this bad. So they've like really gutted their transit, even since I moved away when I was 18.
That's happened to a lot of smaller cities that had decent transit. Even my hometown, North Bay, had pretty decent transit for a small city of like 55,000 people.
Yeah.
And 30 years ago, the transit system was way more robust than it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Guelph never really had like a robust transit system. It was pretty chaotic even when I was in high school. It wasn't that great, but like at least like there were more buses that serviced this neighborhood when I was growing up than there are now. Now there's just one bus that is in this neighborhood, and it comes like once an hour if you're lucky.
Right.
Whereas like when I was growing up, it would be like once every half hour, 45 minutes. And there was like 2 or 3 bus routes that serviced the area. But they've like, one thing that Guelph keeps doing is they keep like rearranging the bus routes for some reason. Like every few years they like switch it up. So like just as soon as you learn what the bus routes are, they like switch it up again. So, and like it feels like every time they switch it up, it just gets worse and worse for like this neighborhood. So I don't know.
This is the route that I walked on during the blizzard, where I did that blizzard video.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I walked around the same route that we're taking.
That's right. Did you go like all the way down there though? Or did you come?
I'm not sure if I think I was planning to go all the way, but then I was like, screw that.
It's too cold, yeah.
I'm not going that far.
Yeah, 'cause it was like minus 40 that day.
Yeah.
I remember. It was pretty brutal.
At this time of day, the lighting is terrible and my camera has a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can hold my camera straight up vertical like I used to see if that makes it any better. It seems to be about the same. It's just when we're walking in this direction, right? As soon as we turn the corner, it should improve.
Well, we're not turning the corner here. We're turning the corner for like a couple feet, and then we're heading in that direction.
Right, right.
Another thing that they don't do in this neighborhood, you got me off on a tangent now. But the other thing they don't do in this neighborhood is they don't ever plow the sidewalks in this neighborhood, which drives me crazy because like Guelph has really high property taxes. So what's on you? What's on you? He's got pollen on him.
Oh.
I'm gonna give him a bath when we get home. Yeah, so they don't like plow. They don't plow the sidewalks in this neighborhood in the wintertime. And a lot of people, there are a lot of pedestrians in this neighborhood, and like a lot of people bike and stuff even in the winter, and there's like Zayres and Costco and stuff like down there. So it was like one day this past, it was January or February, and I was walking to Zayres on my lunch break, and it was like a few days after a big snowstorm that we'd had. It wasn't like immediately the day after, it had been like a few days, but the snow was still there. And I'm like walking down to Zayres, and they hadn't plowed any of the sidewalks at all. And like that city property, those sidewalks, like normally like all of the homeowners here are responsible for plowing this or shoveling the sidewalks in front of their homes, but the city's responsible for shoveling the sidewalks like on the route to Zayres, and they hadn't done that, and it had been like 3 days. So I saw all these people like walking on the road and riding their bikes and stuff, and it was really slippery, and there was ice on the road, and like it was really heavy traffic, and there was people like walking amongst the traffic, and it wasn't just like 1 or 2 people, it was like a good 5 or 6 people that I saw. And then I just had this thought, I was like, you know, one of these days someone's gonna get killed, and the city's gonna be slapped with a lawsuit because they're not plowing the sidewalks, because the sidewalks were completely unwalkable. The snow was like up to my hips. So I was like, that's not good. So I just kind of snapped, and I just like had it. So I called City Hall to complain about it. And I literally just like called the number. I just like Googled the number for City Hall, and I actually got someone at City Hall. And I was like, I told them, I was like, I'm calling to complain about not plowing the sidewalks in my area. And to their credit, they actually like listened to my complaint. And I was like, yeah, and I was like, look, I'm calling for your benefit, because like someone's gonna get seriously hurt one of these days, and like they're gonna sue the city. So like I would, you know, it's to your benefit to make sure that the sidewalks are plowed. And they were like, well, we only have a couple of plows, and like we have limited resources. And I was like, no, I get it, but like it might be worth considering where you allocate those resources, because there are a lot of pedestrians in this area. This is one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in the city, and let's go that way. And I was like, if we don't, like, there's a lot of pedestrians, like, and like this is the only Costco in town also, so like there's a lot of traffic there all the time, like from all across town, and there's a lot of pedestrians, and put those together with unplowed sidewalks, and that's a recipe for disaster. So I was like, you might want to think about that when you allocate resources. And then they were like, oh yeah, okay, thanks, but they never did anything about it. But I was like, at least you listened to my complaint.
On the Toronto subreddit, people complain the same way about living in the city that you do about living in the suburbs.
Why? That no one plows the sidewalk?
Just, they'll think of all kinds of reasons to hate Toronto, basically, right?
Well, then they're welcome to come live here.
Right?
They won't hate Toronto anymore, I promise.
What's he doing? Is he investigating the grass?
Okay, buddy.
So what do you hate more, suburbia or billionaires?
Oh boy.
Okay, you don't have to answer that.
Ooh, that's potentially the hardest question
you don't
anyone
have to
has
answer.
ever asked me.
Yeah, don't even try to answer that.
Oh, that's tough, man. Suburbia or billionaires? God. Now I'm gonna think about that.
Hey, there's another dog walker. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he was like, hey, what's up? Suburbia or billionaires? I don't know. I mean, I hate both with an equally burning, fiery passion. So, yeah, baby, let's go. That's the GO train.
It's like you can hear it, but you can't see it.
Where is it?
It's going to Kitchener.
Yep.
Yep.
That just came from Toronto.
I can hear it going towards Kitchener.
I have to say, as bad as Guelph is, it's not as bad as Kitchener-Waterloo.
Really? I don't know. I think I'd rather live in Kitchener.
No.
It's more big city. It has like tall buildings downtown and things like that, and it has like an LRT, you know. has much higher transit usage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there's more people in Kitchener that you would have nothing in common with than there are here. Guelph is just like a little more progressive than Kitchener-Waterloo. So that's the main reason why.
Yeah, I think I'd still rather live in Kitchener. Yeah. At least I'd have some tall buildings to look at.
Yeah, they're not that tall.
40 stories, 50 stories is proposed. Getting pretty tall. I think the tallest building in Guelph is about 19 stories.
Yeah, that's because there's a bylaw in Guelph that they can't build taller than the Church of Our Lady downtown.
Right.
It's actually a bylaw. It's against the law. So there will never be any tall buildings in Guelph. It's always going to be just a small town.
Could never live here then.
Nope. But what I think they should do is completely bulldoze this neighborhood and then rebuild it like Queen West with like storefronts.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And apartments up top.
Yeah, you're dreaming.
That's what they should do. If I was ever mayor of Guelph, that's what I would do. I'd just bulldoze it, like this whole. I would just flatten it and then like build like storefronts that go right to the road and then apartments on top, and anyone whose house used to be here can live in one of the apartments.
Yeah, I'm sure that would go over well.
They'd like it after a while.
Oh yeah.
When
That's the reason why they live here and not on Queen West,
well,
right?
When they can get rid of their cars and like walk to the grocery store across the road and like walk to their.
But nobody who lives here wants to do any of that. That's why they're here.
I think they're just here because they can't afford to live in Toronto. Because I can't imagine why anyone would like voluntarily live here over Toronto.
Well, sadly, a lot of people don't want to live in Toronto. As much as we love it, a lot of people cannot stand it, and they'd rather live anywhere else than Toronto.
I don't understand that. Like, because I just tend to assume that like people who live here only live here because they have no other choice, because they can't afford to live in Toronto.
No,
and then I feel sorry for them. And then it's like, but then it just like frustrates me, because then I think like, okay, if we all collectively hate it here because it's not as good as Toronto, why don't we try to make it more like Toronto? I don't understand why we're not doing that.
People move here because they don't want to be in a place like Toronto. They want it to be not like Toronto. That's why they're here.
Just like blows my mind. Like,
and
I don't know.
And you know what? Guelph is growing fast now. There are some people who moved here 20 years ago from Toronto, and now they're going to think, I think we have to move away from Guelph. It's getting too big. We better move to like Woodstock or, you know, some other smaller place, right?
Yeah, like my parents' neighbors are like, well, it's getting too crowded here. I'm like, crowded? What are you talking about? You can walk outside at any time of day and literally not see anybody. We've seen 2 other human beings on our walk so far.
Yeah.
I really like this little neighborhood.
Well, I was just going to say, look at this is all like apartment buildings, right? Yeah. I'm going to show you. This is all some very decent suburban density right here. Yeah.
That's like, I complain a lot about living in the country.
But there's the country.
I know. Well, then my mom is like, you don't live in the country. I'm like, Mom, there's a field at the end
there
of the road.
There it is. There's the country.
That's what I call the country. Like.
But this is very Canadian. The way the development just stops.
Yeah.
With like little apartment buildings built right up to the edge of a field. Yeah. You don't see that in a lot of American cities, right? Usually they have low density sprawl that just peters on and keeps going on at bigger and bigger lots and lower and lower densities until it just fades away into nothing. Here it's just there's the country. Boom, here's the city of Guelph. Just instantly you have apartment buildings. Yeah.
Alright, so I have to warn you, there's a lot of grasshoppers in this field.
Oh, we're going into the field?
Well, yeah.
Okay. It's are we gonna have enough time though? We're 24 minutes into the video.
Alright, well my house is just down the road.
Yeah. Because we have to get back within the next 6 minutes.
Just do like a little view and then.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of pretty over there.
But look at that. It's the literal
Country.
countryside of southwestern Ontario.
Yeah, no, I live in the country. That's what I'm saying. I live in the country.
Yeah.
My mom's like, you don't live in the country. Stop exaggerating. I'm like, no, literally, I live in the country.
More apartment buildings. Yeah.
Literally, here it is. Countryside.
That's pretty cool.
That does make a really good setting for like when I have to film my historical costumes, though. Because there's not like any historical buildings around. So usually if I like want to film, like especially like a Jane Austen type dress, I'll just like go prance around in that field.
Yeah. You see the same sort of thing in the Greater Toronto area too with the development, except in some cases in the Greater Toronto area, there'll be a field like that, and this will be, instead of a 3-story apartment building, there'll be a 25-story building built right next to a field, right? Yeah. Like an actual high-rise, even sometimes taller.
And I'm always like, I don't understand the point of that, because like, to me, like, you would live in a high-rise apartment because it's convenient, because like, you've got like a shop, usually you've got like a, you know, like a Starbucks or a grocery store at the bottom of your apartment building, perhaps access to the subway, and then you'll have like, you know, like a Shoppers Drug Mart across the street, and then you'll have like, you know, it's like convenient, it's close to things, like that's why you live in an apartment. But I don't know what would be like living in an apartment next to a field would like defeat the point of living in an apartment. Come on, Debbie.
He's just having the time of his life.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Okay, my love, we gotta go. That's a good boy. Come on. Yeah, that's what makes me feel a little bit better about living here, knowing that he likes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd have a worse time taking a walk in like downtown Toronto. Like,
yeah,
he
which
wouldn't,
like we used to do all the time, but then I would have to keep him on like a really short leash.
Yeah.
Because I can't let him wander all over the place because there's so many people, right? So you got to keep him like on a short leash downtown, and like usually we'd be like in a rush because I'd be on the way somewhere, and so.
Let's see our shadows.
Oh. Okay, what's that? Okay, buddy, we gotta go. We gotta go. Come on, sweetheart.
he's like, I want to sniff things.
We gotta go.
There are too many things to sniff here.
He's like so curious.
And pee on.
Here we go. Good boy. Do you even have anything left?
Yeah.
So like by the end of the walk, he like empties himself out.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like a performance now. It's just a show. Alright, so when we get back, I'm just gonna have to rinse him off because he's got that pollen on him, and I don't want him to lick it off himself in case it's like poisonous. So I'm just gonna bathe him quickly, but you run upstairs and start,
Okay.
and I'll catch up. Are you gonna do it on my computer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just give you the password when we get inside. Because
Okay.
you can just enter the password without my fingerprint.
Okay. Drone Crescent. That's
Yep.
a strange name.
I live on Drone. Can you see my house?
I don't know, can I?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can see it from here.
Okay. Like I said, these houses all look very similar, so until I see that number, I'm not sure exactly which one is yours. Yeah.
I told my mom that if I ever hit my head and decided to buy a house in suburbia, the first thing I would do, like before I even bought furniture, was I would hire a graffiti artist to come and like plaster the entire front of my house in graffiti, and the driveway, and like the side, like every inch of my house
Right.
on the outside would be covered in graffiti. And she's like, "Your neighbors would hate you," and I'd be like, "Oh well." Don't care.
Yeah, you'd get drummed out of the neighborhood. Yeah.
I wish someone would do that here. If someone here in this neighborhood decided to plaster their house in graffiti, I would buy them flowers and lunch, and I would bring it to them, and I would bake them cookies and be like, thank you. Thank you for doing something interesting. Like, just thank you. I would like want to be friends with that person. I'd be like, who is this person? We need to be friends immediately.
Well, on that note, I'm going to start wrapping up the video. We're just about back where we began. So thank you all. I hope you enjoyed our little dog walking journey around Suburgatory here in the west end of Guelph, and we got to hear some awesome rants by Meghan about her thoughts on the suburbs.
I think the suburbs are slightly worse than billionaires. That's what I've
Okay,
concluded.
that's what she's concluded.
Not much, but like just by a hair, just marginally.
So leave a comment down below.
Do you think what's worse to you guys, the suburbs or billionaires?
There you go. There's the question.
I would like to hear your thoughts.
That is the question. So yeah, let me hear your thoughts down below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And there's also a super thanks button right down below if you'd like to support the channel that way. And I'm on Instagram also under K Continuum, and Meghan is under Instagram and YouTube also under Meghan Sandor.
That's right. You can smell the smoke a little bit coming
Check her out. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right, until next time, thanks for watching. And of course,
we will continue.
We will continue. Yes, we will.